Alright guys, check this out. A little while ago when we were hiking down the mountain, I showed you that giant pile of bear scat. So we definitely know there's bears around here. But I didn't realize that they're so incredibly close to our campsite. A thru hiker just came walking up and he seemed a little bit frazzled. And he said that he just came across 2 cubs in a tree less than 100 feet from where I'm camping at. And he was pretty torn up about it. Ow! Sometimes you just gotta howl, man. This is the Tennessee-Virginia state line. Hey there guys, Luke here with the Outdoor Gear Review. Hope you're all doing well. Today marks the beginning of our Appalachian Trail overnight adventure. Now if you guys follow my Facebook page or my website, you guys will immediately notice that I am definitely carrying some different gear than what I posted, and I will actually explain the changes as we cruise along here. There's a cold front that's come through the area and another one that's coming through tonight. So the conditions have changed, so the trip has changed somewhat. But nonetheless, we are going to have an awesome time, I promise. So guys, let's load into the Ram van. Let's get going. All right, guys, we are locked and loaded basically for our trip to Damascus, Virginia. That is where we will be getting on to the Appalachian Trail. Let's go. When we started this video, I was telling you guys that I had to change some of my plans and basically some of the gear that I was going to use on this trip. Initially, you know, this whole thing was planned to do an Appalachian Trail hammock campout. But with the cold fronts that came through and the one that's coming through tonight, it's just going to be too dang cold to do it. And, you know, like I've said before, I have very little experience in a hammock. You know, so... You know, I looked at the temperatures. They're supposed to be low 50s, high 40s. And let me tell you, that is awfully cold in a hammock. So, you know, based on my little experience in a hammock and those conditions, I've decided that it is best to put that hammock off until a later date. Hopefully, it's not too late in the season here, and we'll actually have some warmer temperatures to go out and do a hammock camp out. But, you know, really, that is the reason right there why I never really got into hammock camping. And namely because the season is so short here in the mountains. We have like 2 months of weather temperatures that can, you know, that's actually conducive for hammock campouts. And of course, you know, part of that is based on my knowledge of hammock camping, which is very, very slim, almost nothing. You know, I do have a couple hammocks. I've tried them out a couple of times. I've even done an overnight or two. And even at 60 degrees, I was fairly cold. And so, you know, with it being in the high 40s, low 50s, I'm just not going to tempt fate. Oftentimes, when you're going out backpacking, anything else, it doesn't really matter. You know, it applies to everything. You know, you really do have to choose your equipment and your loadout based on the conditions that you're going to be in. So I think in my mind it was a wise decision to skip out on the hammock and substitute something else. Now basically that's as far as gear goes, that's the only thing that's changed. The plan for this hike is exactly the same. We'll be going out to Damascus, hopping on the Appalachian Trail, and we will be heading south towards Watauga Lake. How far we go, I don't know. That's up to us. So we'll just see. Now, this part of the AT, I've never actually been on before. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be a new experience. And I can't wait. I absolutely love new adventures. So, it's going to be great, guys. So, I'm sure you're wondering, since I decided not to bring the hammock, what did I replace it with? Well, we are actually testing out something brand spanking new tonight. And of course, I will show that to you guys later. Maybe once we hop on the trail, I'll tell you more about it. I'm definitely very, very excited to try it out tonight. And also, the pack that I'm using, it's a North Face bag. I don't remember the name of it. I got an incredible deal on that backpack. It's a 50-liter bag, pretty lightweight. So far, I'm really, really impressed. We'll see how the quality is and just how comfortable it is later on. But it's like I actually cut the price tag off of this bag just this morning, and it was $218 for a 50-liter backpack. I went through the receipts this morning, and I got that pack for $50 from backcountry.com when they were having some sort of promotional sale or something. Well, we're going to keep on cruising here. We got about another 10 minutes before we enter Mountain City. And then we're going to go through Shady Valley, and we're going to head towards Damascus. So we have probably another 35-40 minutes before we get to Damascus. Yeehaw. Alright guys, right around this corner is my favorite barbecue place of all time. It's super greasy, but it is super delicious. This is Mike's Barbecue with the Pink Pig in Mountain City. This place is absolutely amazing. And as you can see, there's tons of people there because it rocks. Not only will you have a heart attack instantly if you eat more than one, but you'll probably have uncontrollable diarrhea from all of the grease. Like seriously, they give it to you like in a white paper bag, your meal, but by the time you carry it to the picnic table, which is like 20 feet away, you can see through the bag and you see like all the contents of it because there's so much grease. But man, oh man, is it good. At some point in time in the future, my wife and I will have to make another military surplus run. Here in Mountain City, just right down the road here on, basically it's like the downtown part of the city, they have a large military surplus store, which I haven't personally been in since I was a kid. So, we might have to make another video and do another surplus run. That would be pretty awesome. It's definitely time to get ready to rock and roll. I will go ahead and fire up the GPS unit, get all my gear ready, and I'll bring you back once we started. Alright guys, here we are, and we are about to begin. Right where the two trails cross, here in Damascus, the Appalachian Trail and the Creeper Trail. Now it's a game of trying to find the Appalachian Trail. I have an idea, we shall see. For the sake of our adventure, we're following the white blazes. There's one, here's another, and what do you see? The Appalachian Trail. This is what we have to look forward to. About 10 miles to the Aberdeen Gap Shelter. Whew, here we go. Luckily, we have a pretty light pack today. My previous loadout, before I switched from the hammock to our mystery tent, was right at 17 pounds. After the switch, we're right at 19 pounds. Guys, this is awesome. Like I said before, we will be following the white blazes. Now, anytime that I'm out with friends of mine and we're doing some hiking and whatnot, we like to play little games, betting games. So, we'll go ahead and have a little bet. While we're hiking on this section of the AT, Will we pass anybody coming down? That's the bet. I'm gonna say, no, we're not. No real reason why, I just don't think we will. I think we have it all to ourselves. We'll see if that's true or not. So, what's your guess? We'll see who's right at the end of this video. Looks like we have someone that's up here. There's their camp. Very cool. I haven't lost the bet yet because there's nobody in there. You could say that's a technicality right there. As we're walking along here, guys, tell me if you notice what I noticed a little while back. There's not one speck of trash out here. Not one. And that's because the people that come out here want to be with nature, want to enjoy it just like I do. This is known as the People's Trail. Whoa! Guys, take a look at this. Look at the size of this black snake. There's his head right here. Golly, dude, you're huge. We'll just let you be. He about startled me. I was staring at the camera. But yes, the Appalachian Trail is the People's Trail. So cool. As I hike along, I'll just throw up some information about it on the screen. Definitely warming up, especially with all this elevation gain. Man, that snake back there was awesome, but that goes to show and to teach you a very, very valuable lesson. You have to pay attention to where you're going. That was just a regular black snake. What if that was a rattlesnake? I stepped on it and it bit me. Luckily, I'm still pretty close to town. I can get my way out quickly. What if I'm 10 miles in or further? I would be in big trouble. It's all about paying attention, even if that means you gotta go slower. You know, I'm thinking about that black snake back there. Really awesome. You know, some people don't like snakes. I personally don't care. I don't mind them. Don't like spiders, but whatever. When it comes to black snakes, if you have them around your house, man, that is such an awesome sign. Plus, if you see them out in the woods, again, a very awesome sign. Why, you might ask? Black snakes kill poisonous snakes. So, if you have them running around your house, or if you come across them on the trail, you know, unless they're in your house, don't kill them, guys. It's much better to have a black snake that's harmless than a water moccasin, copperhead, or a rattlesnake. We are definitely going up, up, and up. And it is awesome, guys. Check this out. Beautiful. Looks like we're getting closer to the top of this mountain. Take a look at this, guys. Bella and Tyke were here. For this little adventure, you guys may be wondering the type of clothing that I'm wearing. And I'm using an active shirt from Old Navy. They're like $3. They're super cheap. They breathe fairly well. And once they get kind of stinky, you can just chuck them. And as you guys know, that's how I like to do with my t-shirts. Of course, with pants, I like to, actually spend some money, get some really good gear. But these active shirts, they're good enough. So once, they reek chuck them easily. Pants, I have a pair of Arc'teryx Rampart pants. Very nice, very breathable. I love these pants, by the way. The shoes are my Vasky Juxt. Look at the wear on those things. Hundreds and hundreds of miles of use on these shoes. I'm not going to stop until they explode. These are definitely by far the most comfortable shoes I've ever purchased. I need to actually go ahead and order another pair just in case the company stops making them or switches to something else. They are amazing. Of course, in my bag, I do have a couple more items of clothing. I have a sweater, just in case it's cold in the morning or tonight. I also have an extra pair of socks, so when I go to bed tonight, my socks aren't all sweaty. My feet aren't wet and cold. On the back of my pants here, I do have my keys, and they're hooked up to a carabiner. And when I'm out hiking, I like to have my keys out, just jingling and jangling. That way, any animals that are out here, they're gonna hear me a long time before I get there and take off, hopefully. When you're out backpacking, you always want to make sure to make some noise. That way, like I said before, all the animals will disperse, you have no problems. It's when you're quiet and you stumble across something that you're gonna have an issue. Especially if it's a bear that has cubs, whew, you're gonna be in trouble. Definitely making some good progress, continuing to go up, up, and up. It is gorgeous here. We're definitely getting close to the top of this mountain. Through the trees, you can kind of see ridges and stuff. So we're definitely up there. Very, very cool. I was just thinking, anytime you're backpacking, especially if you're on the Appalachian Trail, you have to have a trail name. So, normally, I go by the name of Gray Bush. But you know, every time I mention that to someone, the first thing they do is look down. So I was thinking maybe something else, I don't know. Maybe lone wolf. Because I'm definitely a lone wolf 99% of the time. 100% of the time when I do these videos. I don't know. What do you guys think? What's a good nickname? Make sure it's nothing too awesome, if you know what I'm saying. I don't know. You know, I might just keep Gray Bush. Kind of like that. Makes you think for a second, too. What does that mean? You don't want to find out. As I'm walking here, guys, I am constantly shifting my focus from side to side. Always looking for snakes. You just got to be very observant, especially when you're out by yourself. Check this out, guys. We now have 2 blue blazes instead of the 1 white one. And the meaning of this is for water. There's a water source up here. And if you go over here, all you have to do is start following the blue blazes, and it'll take you to where you can get water. Luckily, I have enough water for now. I do have 3 liters of water, and my method of purification this time is actually Aquamira drops. You mix part A, part B, let it sit 5 minutes, dump it into your water, wait 15 minutes. If your water's extremely cold, you wait 30 minutes. Super simple, and I'll show you guys how to do all that stuff later on. And of course, we will have a video on how to do this in the future. Check this out, guys. If I was tired, I would stop here, because look at this. What an amazing spot. Huh? Look at that fire pit. Oh, nice. It's even got a little grate in it. Might as well take a load off here for a second. Whew. It is definitely hot. You know, and the temperatures right now are probably in the low 70s, high 60s, and it's just all that elevation. Whew. Sweating up a storm. Might as well get a snack, guys. Time to fuel up. Looks like we'll have an old-fashioned chewy bar. These things sure are small. This is a nice trip so far. I'm having a lot of fun. It's so beautiful, and it is so quiet. I'm not hearing anything, anyone, nothing. Just the way I like it. I have a friend that's on the Appalachian Trail right now. He drove down and started in Georgia yesterday. And so his plan is to do all of North Carolina. Lucky dog, I wish I had the time to do it with him. In my food bag, I always carry a very large Ziploc bag. And this is basically my bear bag. Put my food in this and throw it up, but I also put my garbage in there as well. And then of course, smash the air out of it and seal it back up, hold in some of those scents, and we are ready to rock and roll again. Beautiful spot. I'm almost sad to see this spot go, but I'm sure there's more. Do a quick look at the pack here. Make sure there's no bugs on it. Pretty nice pack. I really like this. And here we go. As we're trucking along here, I really don't have any certain distance in mind. We're just out here to have fun and to go as far as we freaking want to. Definitely a little bit chilled now that I kind of started drying off. For myself, I'm gonna set a marker, and you know, basically that's going to be the Abington shelter. We might camp right around there. We will not be staying in the shelter though, and namely that's because before I left the house, I did a little looking around on the internet, see about any bear reports, any news that I should know before coming out here. And I saw two things. One about bears, especially on the Tennessee side of the trail. The trail's still open, but camping is forbidden because there's such high bear activity. So the further we go, really the more cautious we need to be. But we need to be cautious anyway. Just saying. But the other little tidbit of news was that there is some sort of rhino virus going around. Basically the type of virus that causes you to fill your pants full of crap and barf up a lung. So it's recommended have no contact with anybody and not to stay in the shelters. So that is definitely some advice we're going to listen to. Back to the subject of trail names. I've even considered Rabbit, and that's because I like to go. I definitely keep up a pretty good pace. For some people it's kind of hard to keep up with, but I don't know. What's your trail name? Pop it down below. Let me know, guys. Also, post on there why that's your trail name. Usually there's a story that kind of goes along with it, and I'd like to hear yours. Looks like we have some downhill to do. Fun to go down, not so much fun to come back up. But that's the name of the game. That's also where it becomes really, really nice to have a light pack. Of course, I could have gone lighter. Could have used a lighter backpack. Could have gone without some of the additional things that I brought with me on this trip. But you know what? If I'm going to go out, I'm going to have a good time. And plus, I'm not hiking the whole thing. A lot of people, when they come out to the Appalachian Trail, they bring so much stuff. And so the next little town that they come to, they end up giving all their stuff away, or they end up sending it back home to themselves. I may not need a shelter tonight. I should be covered in enough spider webs that I should be protected from anything that happens. Wind and rain. One thing I'll make sure to do is to stop for the night long before it starts really getting cold and the sun goes down. I want to dry off first. Most people die in temperatures from 40 to 50 degrees of hypothermia. You would think it would actually be in colder temperatures than that, but that's not the case. You have to be smart. You have to be diligent. You do not want to be soaking wet. Now, if I was doing the whole AT, or even a longer section hike, I'd be going at a much slower pace. But since we had a late start to our trip, we got out here about 1 o'clock or so. And that's because, really, I had to finish my work. I had to repack my gear because of the changing conditions. Then it took an hour plus to drive out here. We shall continue on, my friends. Aha! We're entering the Cherokee National Forest here. No kidding. Here is the Tennessee-Virginia state line. Awesome, guys. Check this out. We're entering the Cherokee National Forest. This is the Tennessee-Virginia state line. And now we're going out of the Mount Rogers Jefferson National Forest. Very awesome, guys. We're doing really, really good. Based on my rough calculations, we've got about another 2 hours of hiking before we get to the Abington shelter. Whew, let's keep on going. Someone's been out here eating blueberries, or maybe a bird dropped it. Who knows? Bizarre. All right, guys. Well, we're still cruising along here, and we are definitely on top of a ridge. Very windy. You can tell that cold front's coming through. Temperature's dropping just a little bit. Take a look around. Looks like we're going to be going down just a little bit. Further and further into the Cherokee National Forest. I'm trucking along here, guys, and I see this gigantic bird's nest of some sort in there. It's a good sized nest. Maybe for a hawk or something like that once, perhaps. Check out this pretty wicked tree. That thing is awesome. We're still trucking along here, and I came to another trail. There's a sign for water out here. And this is called Backbone Rock. Who knows what that is exactly? There's the water sign. And here's the sign for Backbone Rock. I'll have to look that up and see where it goes for next time. And I swear we have gone uphill the entire time we've been out here. That's what it seems like anyway. Luckily, I'm pretty prepared for uphill since, you know, I do a lot of hiking. Just last week, I did at least 60 miles with my buddies, just walking back roads. Ooh, I'll have to stop and get something to eat. I'm hungry. My stomach's talking. I would personally stop myself, but I really do need to keep on trucking. Stopping ever so often to record this is definitely slowing me down. But of course, I love doing it with you guys. I love sharing all these adventures. I'll tell you what, it really has become a passion of mine. I really enjoy this experience that I've been having with you guys, because you guys rock, you know? I love hearing from people who learn something, and the truth is, I love to learn as well. We're just trucking along, guys, and I had to stop for a minute and just listen. And there's absolutely nothing. You know, it's so freaking awesome. Ow! Sometimes you just gotta howl, man, because life is good. I don't know where we're at. I don't know how far away we are. All I know is that we gotta keep on going, and that's what we're gonna do. This really is an awesome hike. I love going on new trails, going on places that I've never been before. It's so exciting to me. Well, we're not at the Abington shelter yet, but we have come across another cool little campsite. I'll show it to you. And this one here actually has a good amount of firewood already set up. Not too bad. Very nice, guys, very nice. And lots of firewood around here too. Of course, I already made my goal. It's the Abington shelter. That's where I'm going to get to tonight. Nothing will stop me. Look at how beautiful this spot is, guys. Absolutely gorgeous. Take a look, guys. Here's the first bit of sky and mountains I've been able to see the entire time. It's really thick through here. But as you can tell, we're definitely up here. Some of those mountains back there, they're up in the clouds. So, you never know. Might get a passing shower. Check out these weird mushrooms. Those things are crazy looking. Huh. Definitely time to take a little break here. We're at another little camping spot. Let's go ahead and check the GPS now and see how far we have gone. We are at basically 3,500 feet right now. We're heading south. Okay, we've gone 8 miles. So that's not bad. 7.9 is exactly where we are. All right, I am just gonna pack and eat. We got a little bit more than a mile to go until we're at the shelter. And then, you know what? We can start taking it easy. Pretty nice. I'll be honest with you. There was one camping spot back there that I'll show right here in the corner that we hit up that I really like the looks of. Now I kind of wish I had actually stopped there for the night. Well, I'll tell you what. It's only a couple miles back. So once we get to the shelter, if there's somebody there, we'll head back and take that spot. It's too nice to pass up. As you guys can tell, it's definitely starting to get a little bit later. Definitely cloudy up here. Can't really tell where the sun is at, but we already know that it's after 5 o'clock. So we have a very limited amount of sunlight left. Then of course we have a very limited amount of dim light after that. So once we get to the shelter, we'll pretty much have to evaluate our situation and decide if we're actually going to start a fire or if we're going to use some solid fuel to boil up our water so we can eat. We shall see. I do have to say, guys, being completely honest, so far I am definitely winning this bet. I haven't seen or heard anyone the entire time. As I'm walking along here, I had a snack, I don't know, about a mile or so back. And I put the wrapper in an easy to access side pocket over here. Before I go to bed, I will definitely want to make sure to get that out and put that with the rest of my garbage. You don't want to go hop inside your tent, wherever you're at, with food, especially a package that's opened. If nothing else, you can draw in mice. They'll nibble in your stuff, tear a hole in your tent. Raccoons are even worse. So on and so forth. It's all about just being smart. You have to remember that animals smell about 1,000,000 times better than we do. That right there is a gigantic pile of bear crap. Scat, whatever. Again, just kind of reinforcing the statement that you really do gotta be careful, especially with your food. Have to. Now, of course, that pile is fresh. Definitely within the last day or so. Well, that's just how it goes, guys. Now, in terms of protection, the only thing I brought with me is my Mora bushcraft knife. I've never had any issues with animals, and I really don't expect to now. Okay, guys, we have made it. Over there's the shelter. Looks like they're enjoying it. We got some pretty nice camping spots over here. I had a good time back there talking to the guy. He's doing sections of this, and he's coming from Hot Springs. And he said that he's going to be going to Roanoke. It's a pretty good distance right there. Also, he said that he was going to spend his birthday out here. And he was going to be 74 years old. That's pretty dang impressive, guys. Very, very impressive. I would have stayed at that shelter, but pretty dang small, to be honest with you. So I figured, you know, might as well backtrack a little bit. If I can make it back to that one campsite before the sun goes down, we'll be doing all right. But that is definitely, I don't know, 3 miles away, probably. So, for the sake of time, I'll go ahead and put the camera up, and we shall get this done. Okay, guys, we're still trucking along here, but you know what? The sun has finally popped its head out for the first time today, and it is awesome. It's been so dark and dreary. It seemed like it was a whole lot later than it really was. But now that the sun is actually up, I can tell how much daylight that we have left. So that is very, very handy indeed. Right now there's some really easy hiking. Of course, because we're going backwards, going back the way we came, and most of it is downhill. And of course, I'm trying to go at a pretty good click here, because I am starving, let me tell you. Definitely hungry. I really did have a good time talking to that individual. He said that he even spends his anniversaries out here. And I didn't want to pry too much, so I didn't ask. But I wonder if that's because his wife has maybe passed away, and this is just what he likes to do. I don't know. Hopefully at that age, we'll still be doing this. We shall see. Alright guys, it's getting a little bit too late tonight to go any further, so I think we're going to go ahead and stop here. I don't remember a camping spot after this one, so we might as well call this home for tonight. We have just a little bit of light left, and I really don't want to be trucking through the woods, especially get to our campsite when it's almost dark, and then have to set everything up. And plus, you guys wouldn't be able to see anything. So, this is home. First thing I'm going to do is set up our tent. To me, guys, this looks like a pretty good spot. It's fairly flat and level, which I like. There is quite a bit of junk on the ground. I'm going to have to clean that up. Twigs and stuff. Since we're not going to be using a hammock tonight, I figured that we would bring along the Katoma improved bed net system. I do have the Fly so we can actually test out the entire system, which I'm pretty excited to. I really am impressed with this, and I'm excited to keep testing it out so I can give you guys a review on it. Let me show you how easy this thing is to set up. When you're setting this up, you want to make sure that you do so. There you go. That's it. When you release the tension on that, you want to make sure that there's not a tree or a limb, something that's going to rip a hole in it. Because it definitely comes out with some force. Check this cool dude out. Dude, you are awesome. I hope you stay out of my way because I do not want to step on you tonight.
How you doing, man?
How's it going, man? You all right?
Yeah, pretty good.
Good.
There are 2 baby bears on the tree back there.
No kidding.
Yeah, man, like 100 feet away from me.
Wow.
Yeah, they were in a tree. They climbed down and booked.
Yeah.
That mama, man.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty wild, buddy. Yeah.
And I've seen 16 so far.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Where are you coming from?
From Maine.
Gotcha. You going all the way, huh?
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. Pretty awesome, guys. As I was setting up this tent here, I was talking to this individual who came by, and he said there's 2 baby cubs in a tree probably 100 feet from here. And he said when he walked by, I spooked them and they ran off. But, definitely very cool. All right, guys. Here is our shelter for the night. I tell you what, I have to admit, I think this thing is awesome. Pretty easy to set up. I'm not entirely sure if I have it correctly set up, but that's all right. It will definitely work for the night until I'm actually able to read the instructions. But check this out. Plenty of room. Using my backpack as my pillow tonight. I have my Pacific outdoor mat, or sleeping pad. Jacks are better. Down quilt. And my luxury item was this fleece blanket, which is going to be super nice tonight, especially since it's supposed to get kind of chilly. Okay, guys. We have our rope to throw our food up in a tree later on. We have our cooking kit, and we have our food. To be honest with you guys, I'm beat. This has been a hard little hike. Just straight up, basically. I don't think I'm going to build a fire tonight. I think I'm just going to go ahead and cook it with some solid fuel. And of course I got the garbage out of my backpack. Especially since they are bears. I mean, this freaking close. To leave any bit of food in your backpack would be a big mistake. That guy was saying that he'd seen 16 bears so far on the Appalachian Trail. Let's see, for our dinner tonight, we are having chicken teriyaki with rice. Oh yeah. Those are really good. I was actually planning on bringing some of that rice mix that I made, that I showed you guys how I made, but I figured that there might not be water nearby, and I didn't want to cook in something that I couldn't wash afterwards. So I figured that this might be a better option. And now, especially with the bears being right over there, I'm glad I went this route instead. What I'm going to do here is, I kind of have this pile of rocks. It's kind of a makeshift fire pit here. And I'm just going to readjust this just a little bit and make a level spot where I can actually get my cup about 2 inches off of this S-bit cube. Hopefully, we'll boil some water that way. Alright guys, here's our little stove for the night. And we'll go ahead and put our water on top. Okay, there we go guys. I tell you, these S-bit cubes, solid fuel, is so nice to have with you. Because, you know, right now, I'm tired. I'm really tired, actually. And I don't feel like starting a big fire. Now, you know, we'll have to come back out here and stop at that one campsite because I thought that place was awesome. It will definitely make for a good camping spot later on. So definitely note that. We will definitely be back. Right now the bugs aren't too bad either. Perfect temperatures. Definitely starting to cool off. I'm glad to say that I am already dry, 100% dry, just basically while I was setting up that tent. And I have to say, I definitely like that tent. You know, I think in the future, I will probably use that with more of a tarp, because that fly itself is a little bit heavy, and I definitely have some tarps that are a whole lot more lightweight. Our water is doing great. Take a look. Once I get everything cooked up, I'll have to go and throw up my bear bag. I'm sure we won't have any problems with any bears. They're more scared of us than vice versa. So I guess all in all, I did lose this bet. We did see a couple people. That's how it goes. All right, guys, our water's ready, so we might as well dump it in. Okay, all right. Here's our water. Here's our meal. A little trioxane thing's gonna burn itself out. Our meal should be getting pretty close to being done. I tell you what, guys, we might actually set up a fire here. Something just not right about not having a fire. We are in pretty good shape right now. Didn't take too long to get that fire going, just a couple minutes. Now we can stay nice and warm while we eat our dinner. And it's time to go ahead and eat up, guys. All right. Unreal. So very good. With our fire, we'll keep it about this size. No reason to go any bigger than that. Man, guys, I am starving. This is amazing. A nice warm fire, some good food. Awesome day. I'm just gonna kick back and relax for a little bit. I got nothing to say. I'm too tired. Basically, I'm gonna take all my garbage and I'm gonna stick it inside this, seal it up. Then I'm gonna stick it inside that Ziploc bag, seal it up. And then I gotta string this thing up in the dark because I got so hungry I forgot about it actually. But we'll definitely want to make sure to do that. So we'll have to go rummaging around just a little bit. I don't know what time it is. It's probably after 9 o'clock now. Fire's dying out. I'm definitely tired. This has been an awesome adventure. I'm not too worried about the bears. That's just life. They're everywhere around here. And everybody I've talked to, nobody's ever had a problem. So before I hop in my tent, I will need to do a quick search of myself and just make sure there's no ticks on me. Well, guys, I guess I'm gonna disperse this just a little bit and then crawl inside the tent. Take a look right here, guys. This must be his girlfriend or something. Aren't you awesome? We're in our sweet little tent now, and it's basically time to get some shut-eye. We definitely have a long hike tomorrow just to get out of here. I mean, easily this is a 20-mile trip because it was about 10 miles to the shelter, and we've done a couple more miles back, so I'd say we probably have about 7 miles to get out of here. All in all, not too bad at all. I have to say, I really like this shelter too. Definitely with a new tarp on it, this thing could be really, really lightweight. Right now, I'm just wrapped up with the Shenandoah Jacks or Better quilt, and I'm using my little fleece blanket just as a pillow right now. And if it gets colder later, I'll just drape this over top of me, and that'll be just fine. Guys, I wish you all well. I'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning, folks. It's a little bit after 7 o'clock, probably 7:30. Yeah, but it is definitely cold this morning. It is cold. There's no doubt about it. But the good thing is that stayed pretty warm last night, and definitely comfortable. And I slept pretty good too. Can't complain. And we didn't get killed by bears, so that's pretty awesome. It's always a plus. I'd say we'll probably snooze, just sleep a little bit longer until get you yawn. But we'll probably snooze just a little bit longer. We'll wait for the sun to come up just a little bit more. I can kind of see it rising here in the east, but it's gonna be a while before it's light enough to really see anything. Definitely had a good night though. Yeah, as the cold front came through, the winds picked up, and it is definitely breezy this morning. There was no cloud cover last night, so those temperatures really dropped. Definitely cold. I'll definitely have to put a sweater on. Probably before I even get out of this tent. I do have my toboggan on right now. Really what's kept me warm all through the night is this Shenandoah Jackson Better quilt. I ended up just being pretty comfortable and warm and comfortable with it. I just use this fleece blanket more as a pillow than anything else. And that just might be the best camping pillow I've ever had. Worth its weight in gold, I say. Alright guys, well, soon we'll be getting out of the tent. Once the sun comes up just a little bit more, we'll make some coffee and all that good stuff. Alright guys, finally got our happy butt out of the tent. And brr, it is cold. What I want right now is definitely some coffee. We'll use a trioxane to heat up our water. Okay. Now we're ready to light this up. And I'll show you guys what I've done here. I just made a quick little makeshift stove out of some rocks. There we go. Move some of these rocks around, kind of make a makeshift windscreen. And a Nutri-Grain bar for breakfast. I could make oatmeal, but that would just use up more of the water that I have. And I definitely have a limited supply since I haven't filled up. Once I get back into Damascus, I'll probably fill up there, just so I have water to drink on the way home. But until then, I think we're in pretty good shape. It's going to be a nice day, guys. It really will be. Our water here's got a nice little bit of steam on it. And of course, I don't want to boil it because I don't like my coffee too hot. Here we go, guys. Gosh, that smells awesome. It feels good on my hands. I didn't put a whole lot of water in this. This is more like an espresso shot. Oh, jeez. So, expect me to be running the rest of this very shortly. What type of hair do I got going on here? Alright guys, well, I'm going to basically just clean up camp and break everything down, put everything up, because it's about time to start, heading on out of here. Breakfast was pretty good, coffee was pretty good, but it's time to go. Now that we have everything put up, I'm going to take one more opportunity to look around, make sure I didn't leave anything behind. And here we go. Alright guys, we are trucking along now, heading back to Damascus. We probably have about 7 miles to go, something like that, not too bad. Sun's starting to come up. Gorgeous morning, absolutely beautiful. The Cherokee National Forest is a beautiful place. just like the Jefferson National Forest is too. I'm so incredibly impressed. I don't know, the previous times that I've been on the AT, I guess I just didn't notice it. But this time, I definitely did. There's not a bit of trash or anything anywhere. Now, if you look at a place like the Pisgah National Forest in Linville, there is garbage everywhere. You could almost say it's nasty out there, to be honest with you. Compared to this, I've been thinking about the tent that we used last night, the Katoma improved bed system, and I have to say that I like it a great deal. And one thing I did notice was that there was absolutely no bugs on that tent whatsoever from the moment I set it up. And then it dawned on me that that tent has a special coating on it that actually repels bugs. And I remember when I got this thing, I was thinking, does that really work? Well, I have the answer. It does. There was absolutely nothing on that tent. And that is pretty impressive. Alright guys, starting to warm up pretty good. Back to this uphill stuff. Starting to sweat a little bit. I think it's better just to kind of strip down a little and try not to sweat as much and be just a little bit cold. Alright, here we go. As you guys can see, it is windy as hell this morning. That cold front came through during the night, and I tell you what, when it hit, I mean, it was instant too. At one moment, I was actually getting kind of warm in my tent. I took my socks off, fell asleep. A couple hours later, woke up, wind was blowing like this, and it was cold. Take a look what I found, guys. Someone's boots. That's pretty funny. The entire bottom of that sole is gone. Of course, you can't really see. Ah, there you go. We're still walking along here, and we're definitely keeping up a really good pace. I tell you what, when you're hiking downhill, nothing makes you feel like you're the most awesome hiker in the entire world. Like you could just keep on going forever. I love that feeling. It's just like when I go out for a run. I like to run downhill. I feel like I'm the man. Luckily, we got all of our uphill done yesterday. So now we're pretty much just cruising on down. Well, our adventure is coming to an end. We're about to leave the AT and go into Damascus. All in all, what an amazing trip. Absolutely beautiful country. I'll go ahead and show you guys what it looks like leaving the forest here. Well, our overnight adventure has come to an end. We've been from Damascus to Abington Shelter in Tennessee. According to the GPS, that was 19.6 miles. And let me tell you guys, I feel every single bit of it. My legs ache, actually. They ache a little bit. That was an awesome trip, and I'm glad you guys came along. It's time for me to get some water and to hit the road. For this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review, I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and check out our website at theoutdoorgearreview.com. Everyone, be well.